In the middle of the 20th century, legendary designs like the Huey, the Cobra, and the Mi-24 heralded the start of a new era, the era of helicopters. Combat vehicles perfectly suited for the purposes of lightning-fast air support. New helicopter designs were being developed by superpower states as well as many other countries with advanced defense capabilities, like West Germany, France, and naturally, the United Kingdom. Which is perfect because today we're going to speak specifically about British helicopters. Historically speaking, the biggest contributor to the British industry of military helicopters was a company called Westland. It was originally an airplane manufacturer, but in the 1950s, Westland created a special division that would specialize in producing rotorcraft. Initially, Westland Helicopters were simply building American helicopters like the Sikorsky H-34 under licensing agreements, but eventually the experience accumulated throughout the years, as well as the arrival of new talent through mergers and acquisitions, allowed the company to set bigger goals. The first mass-produced military helicopter by Westland was the Scout, a multi-purpose light helicopter. The original concept for the vehicle was developed by a company called Saunders Roe, which was merged into Westland at the end of the 1950s. There was even a progenitor model, the P-531, which was also a general-purpose helicopter, but Saunders Roe had time to build only a few prototypes. It was under Westland leadership that the development of the project was finally finished. Engineers equipped the helicopter with a Bristol Siddeley Nimbus, a British turboshaft engine, designed a very robust undercarriage outfitted with skids, and also designed the cabin in such a way that the helicopter could be used for search and rescue, reconnaissance, and medical evacuation. The Scout was accepted into service in 1960. In War Thunder, we have the anti-tank variant of the helicopter, armed with the Nord AS-11 missile. This version of the Scout was used in the Falklands War, for example. The helicopter remained in service for several decades. It proved to be a reliable and robust general-purpose military helicopter, even though it wasn't completely without flaws. For instance, the cockpit ergonomics were far from perfect. While making the Scout, Westland also developed a naval-oriented model, the Westland Wasp. It can be easily distinguished from the Scout due to the fact that its undercarriage is equipped with wheels instead of skids. Engineers also outfitted the helicopter with foldable rotor blades and introduced a number of improvements to make it easier for the vehicle to withstand demanding carrier operations. By the mid-1960s, Westland effectively became the main designer and manufacturer of combat helicopters in the UK, so it's hardly surprising that it was Westland that was tasked with developing a new multi-purpose military helicopter to replace the aging Scout. According to the original list of requirements, the new vehicle had to retain the flying characteristics of the preceding design, while also being able to transport a crew of 10 or even a combat vehicle. Moreover, the new prototype was expected to be more reliable and have more potential for modernization. Eventually, one of the models developed as part of that project, the WG-13, was used as a base for the first variants of a new production helicopter. The development was also joined by Aerospatiale, a French aerospace manufacturer, as Westland was really keen on challenging the Huey supremacy on the market with their new multi-role design. As we know now, the Huey largely remained undefeated, but the AH Mark I, also known as the Lynx, proved to be a pretty effective helicopter and was accepted into service in the UK. Performance-wise, the Lynx was very impressive indeed. The helicopter could fly at 250 to 300 kilometers per hour and, despite its size, was also surprisingly agile. Furthermore, it was better protected than the French Gazelle or the Alouette. Throughout its service, it was fitted with a variety of armaments, from Ehrlichen 20mm cannons to TOW and Hellfire ATGMs, as well as Stinger missiles. All in all, thanks to the outstanding efforts of Westland engineers, Lynx helicopters quickly earned favor with British pilots. They were used in several armed conflicts, including the Falklands War, the Iraq War, and in Afghanistan. Apart from helicopters from the original series, War Thunder also features a special demonstrator lynx known as g-lynx. This particular helicopter was modified specifically to set a new speed record for helicopters. It was fitted with more powerful Rolls-Royce engines rated at around 1,200 horsepower, a new transmission, and composite rotor blades. On the 11th of August 1986, a g-lynx with Trevor Egginton at the controls and Derek Clues as flight test engineer alongside him reached a speed of more than 400 kilometers per hour. An official record it still holds, by the way. In 2000, Westland was merged with Augusta, an Italian helicopter manufacturer. As Augusta Westland, the company kept on developing and manufacturing rotorcraft, like a licensed version of the American Apache, fitted with British engines and avionics. Nowadays, though, Westland is part of Leonardo, another pan-European manufacturer. And Westland helicopters, they still remain in service. The important question is, do you enjoy flying them? What are your favorites? Tell us in the comments below.